has it always been celebrated in South Africa? Oh, sorry. With the races, do you feel any tension? Hello.
Hello. Happy
And
Diwali.
welcome. Happy Diwali and welcome to my show. Ah, my show!
So excited. Your show.
Show ko daw. So, Joshna,
Yes.
thank you for welcoming me to your home. This is so beautiful. It's light and airy. Are all South African Indian homes like this?
I would like to think that they are, but it's a very economically diverse, country. So, I don't think some might have more splendid palaces.
Palaces. I've seen those.
Yes, as
Gupta.
beautiful. Yes, yes. Big homes. Lots of space. Maybe double story, triple story.
Some with basement.
Yes, bigger gardens, and this is a home. It's a family home for
It
me and my little
is.
family.
I love your home. It's lots of air, and you have a touch, which I don't know if it's Indian or South African, but it makes the place look very homey, livable, and yet at the same time elegant. So,
Aw.
is that a South African or Indian thing,
I think
or is it
it's-
just you?
I think it's. I try to make it look elegant because we do a lot of entertaining. If it's you across the road, which is you like family, and the kids over, so it's a home at the end of the day, and it's meant to be lived in. But at the same time, we also adults, and we also want to have a little bit of adults around instead of toys everywhere. We want it to look a little bit neat and
Yeah.
structured.
But you mentioned entertaining. I noticed that, like Filipinos, we Filipinos love to entertain.
Yes.
But you Indians as well, huh? It's
Yes.
something that we have in common.
I think that's why we got along as neighbors. Because our doors are always open to each other.
That's right. You can just walk in and anytime and have a glass of wine or a glass of tea.
Tea, yes,
Cup of
Michelle's
tea.
herbal tea.
Yeah. So, and this year, okay, not this year, but this month, we're celebrating the month of Diwali.
Yes.
Does it actually run for a whole month, or is it for a week? How?
I think it's for a week or just over a week, if you had to count in all the different festivities, the numerous festivities. If you look at the traditional calendar, the Vedic calendar, it would run for just over a week. I think
Oh.
I do stand to be corrected. So
Okay.
you'll have different festivals, like you'll have Kali Chaudas, you'll have
What is Kali Chowd? That sounds
it
delicious.
means- I know.
Sounds delicious.
It's different observations or different rituals carried out before Diwali to sometimes gain prosperity, wealth, health, you name.
So
Yeah.
it's in preparation
It's
for
in
Diwali.
preparation.
Okay, so it's actually part of it.
It is part of it. So it's a long. It can be a few days leading up to the actual Diwali.
Diwali.
And
And
then,
on the day of the Diwali itself, what do you do?
So in my home, the way we observe it, my family, and what we would do is we would wake up in the morning. We would wish each other. First thing is wish each other. Greet your parents, seek their blessings. Usually, we'll touch their feet.
Their feet?
Yes, you touch their feet. With your hands. Some people, I put it to my chest. Because that's how you seek their blessings. Very
Oh.
touch their feet, your
So-
elders. So it's like
That-
I would touch your feet and put it here
there.
or here. And then I would usually, this year I go straight to my children, I wake them up and I give them just lots of love, wishes, because it is also embarking on a new year. Wishing them health, wealth, good health.
So is it your equivalent of a new
It
year?
is. So then for I'm Gujarati, so the next day is our new year, our Gujarati new year.
I see.
So when you messaged me, and I said, no, I'm making fish because we break our fast, or we open the new year with fish, which brings luck.
Ah, okay. So afterwards, after the Diwali festival, you don't just eat anything. You have to break your fast, like
Yes.
after a fasting. So you have to have mild things for your stomach.
So Diwali day
So-
we observe vegetarian in my home, and we observe vegetarian. Yeah,
But there's lots of sweets.
lots and lots of sweets, lots
I
of
don't-
sweets.
I don't
lots
need
of
vegetables. Just give me sweets.
deep fried.
Oh,
No, yeah,
deep
no
fried
calorie counting. Yeah.
What you told me just now about touching the feet and then putting in your heart, we have something similar in the Philippines. We bless. So we take the hand of the elder. I know you're
yeah.
younger than me, but I
But
take
just
it
for-
and then I press it into my
Ah,
forehead.
yes,
So
yes, yeah.
it's a sign of respect, which we
Yes.
do every time we see pagmamano. We call it mano.
Yeah.
Mano is a Spanish word for hand, and we put it on the forehead. It's a sign of respect. There are a lot of people debating this, and they're saying that it's it's subservience because obviously it started during the time that the Spanish, the colonialists, were in the Philippines, and so it's a sign of. For them, during that time, it's a sign of respect because they used to do it with the clerics, or with the priests or the
Yes,
archbishops and
yes.
so on. That's how they respect them, and then eventually it was handed down through generation, and we still do it up to today. But my children, we embrace each other, but that sort of just taking
It's
a
very
pause.
comforting.
It's that holding the hand, taking a pause, that connection, and then bringing it here and feeling that connection
It
between
is also
people.
contact with your third eye. We always have the third eye, and I stand to be corrected, but this is the awakening of the soul. So it can be a touch to the awakening of the soul.
That's possible in yoga, because when I studied yoga, they say yes, your third eye is here and between your eyebrows, and to open that is to open enlightenment and so
Yes.
on. Scientifically, they say that the pineal gland is over here
The
behind.
chakras and
And the opening of the pineal gland helps in the development. So whether it's traditional, whether it's cultural, whether it's scientific, for me it's just that moment of touching and connection with anyone, with my mother, with my grandmother, with my children. That's what it brings to me.
yes.
So it really that when you mentioned the touching of the feet and the heart, that really called to me.
Yeah.
Now, so Festival of Light, Diwali, has it always been celebrated in South Africa? Has it always been this big? Because there are like fireworks and everything. First, history in South Africa. Do you know if did your parents celebrate it?
So ever since I was born, Diwali has always been celebrated. It's in my blood. It's genetic. It's who I am.
Okay.
I am third generation South
generation.
African. So my parents are from South Africa. My grandparents are South African. My great grandparents, I think that is when they just came over.
Okay.
So
when was that? Would you know?
I think the early 1900s. So
Okay.
my great grandfather on my maternal side, he was a big businessman. So he came over, and he had a lot. So he came over as a businessman.
As a businessman,
Not
because
here.
there were waves of migration here.
Yes.
I remember the first Indians who came here were indentured laborers. Is that right?
In the 1800s.
In the 1800s, 1820s, or 1840s, they were here to work in the plantations.
Yes, correct.
In fact, there were actually much earlier. The Dutch people brought some Indian laborers, not just coming from India, but also from Indonesia and Myanmar, and that's why we have a lot of those colored people in the south, in Cape Town and
Yes,
that area.
yes.
And funny enough, here's a trivia: Filipinos.
Ah.
There are a lot of Filipinos in Cape Town, and they're now identified as colored because they came here in the 1840s, where the very first Filipino who was here, in the historical records, it was said that the ship there was a shipwreck, and then he
Yes.
was, he settled in Cape Town, or in Kalk Bay to be
Oh.
precise, in the south. It was a fisherman's village.
Yes, it
And
is.
what are we Filipinos? We were fishermen. So he was good with his trade, and so he prospered, and then he brought in kamag-anak, relatives, and those people started coming in and then settling here, and then some people were working for American ships during that time. America was already, in the 1900s, America was starting to emerge as another power, after the Dutch and after the British imperial power, then the Americans, and then yeah, they loved that area and they started settling. And in the 1890s or 1850s, we were under Spanish rule.
Yes.
And because of that, there was lots of oppression, and people were leaving the Philippines. A lot ended in Europe. Our intellectuals ended in Europe and started our revolution from there. But some actually decided to stay in South Africa. They were working in ships and they stayed there. And now there's a Filipino community who are South Africans in the South,
Wow.
in the Cape. Did you know that?
No, I didn't. But that would actually explain a lot of the facial features,
yes.
the features in the Cape Townians.
Right. There are a lot of them that look Malay because they're either from Indonesia, Madagascar, and it's very
Yes.
similar features. And then of course the Filipinos there.
And it's not spoken about enough.
Not spoken about enough because we are, as I said in my introduction, it's very tiny. It's a very tiny population, and that's combining Chinese, East Asians,
Yes.
Southeast Asians like me, and Indonesians, and what else do we have here? We have Thai people here who are also Southeast Asians, and then you combine that with the South Asians, who are the Indians who are here. And still, it's the minority. It's really the smallest. I think we are 7.6% of the population
In the country.
In the country.
And then if you translate it globally, it's 10 times that figure, I think. It's
That is
absolutely insane.
It's insane, yeah. But it is a rainbow nation, and there are many ethnicities and many races in South Africa, but we all try to get along with one another.
For sure.
I really love that. And that's why it's nice to celebrate your tradition. And it's not only the races, but because of that, the religions, right?
Yes.
There's Christianity. I think that's the biggest here, Christianity. that
Yeah,
includes-
Christianity. It is
And
Christianity.
There's the Muslims,
which
and
is
then
also
there's
quite-
Judaism. There's a big Jewish population in South Africa, and Hindus.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Tamils, it goes on. Buddhists, Jains, yeah. Yes.
and as a South African with Indian descent, do you feel any tension with?
In terms of South Africans, or there is, it is, it's always going to be there. It is where we come from, so it's always going to be that little bit of tension is going to, or how can I say, lack of understanding is going to be there. It's a difficult time in our history at the moment with what we, coming out of COVID, in our country, not history, coming out of COVID, the looting, elections. So that all adds to the tension.
Right.
And I think it's, we just got to keep our eye on the history, the South African story, the rise out of apartheid into democracy, and what it really stands for.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it is there. I'm not going to. You know me. I'm very straightforward. It is there, and I'll never lie about it. But it's how we keep keep focus on the story of democracy, the history of democracy, our forefathers, and what they brought to the country, and like practice what you and I have. We're blessed to have this amazing relationship, neighborly relationship, where our doors are wide open for each other. And I just wish that each street, each neighborhood in South Africa, Johannesburg, Gauteng, wherever it is, could practice that.
Exactly. Yeah, our street is comprised of different people from different
Absolutely.
places. They're Black South Africans, white South Africans, Indian South Africans,
English,
English, Scottish,
yes.
yes,
Lithuanians,
Afrikaans. We have
Yes.
Afrikaans people.
Yes.
Natasha and Carl, yeah.
Yes, very much.
Yeah,
Yes, Afrikaans.
And then where's Frau
Ijas.
Anna from? They're from
Not
Czech
Anna.
Republic.
Yes.
Can you imagine? I mean,
And very
that's
recently, 2 doctors from
India.
and Pakistan.
is she from Pakistan?
She's from Delhi, and I'm not sure where he's from, but yeah, India.
Yeah, and that's just our street. So it is a rainbow nation, and we are lucky that we are able to celebrate one another's tradition. Like everyone came out for Halloween.
Yeah.
Which is not even a Christian tradition.
No,
it's just a
no,
commercial
it's not even
tradition.
yeah, it's absolutely
It's not even a
commercial.
South African
It's
tradition.
not even South African at all. We just made it an occasion.
Yeah.
And that's what we South Africans do. We make something an occasion to be together.
What are you gonna make for Diwali?
A traditional. Well, no, I'm actually not very traditional. So I'm not traditional. So I was planning.
Your
on not
mom's
ma-
watching.
Yes, my mom's watching. I'm always that fish that swims against the tide. So I will be a very non-traditional, very
Okay.
different. So like that's what I want. I would like to explore different aspects of being Indian, a global Indian. So instead of making the traditional vegetarian meal, it's about that's what I want to do. Is I want to explore street food in India, like pani puri, like dosas, like aloo chaat, gajar halwa, which is not a street food, but it's something that we are not used to, and I want to just push the boundaries a little bit.
Aloo chaat.
Aloo
I want to
chaat.
try that.
Yes, aloo chaat.
What is aloo chaat? What's in it?
So it is fried potatoes.
potatoes.
So it's marinated in a whole bunch of different spices. Chaat masala being the main spice, and then you layer it with what we would call samosa par. So we cut it in diagonal shapes. You fry it, deep fried. Everything is deep fried.
Yum.
And then you would you
Yes.
layer it. It's just different layers of flavors, and then you put some dai or yogurt, and then you would put some mint chutney, tamarind chutney, and then topple it with some sev. So you got that beautiful richness from the potatoes, and then you got the coolness from the yogurt, and it's absolutely addictive.
Is it ready? Can we arrange
We
your kitchen?
we can arrange it quickly. we will arrange that. So that's what I want to do. Is I want to explore something different. So it's not about being a South African Indian. It's about just being a global Indian and having something a bit different this Diwali.
Why do you say not just being South African Indian? What would a South African Indian prepare when it's Diwali?
I think I won't say South African Indian, so don't quote me. But I think we must be,
I won't quote you. I just
Yeah,
recorded.
everyone else could quote me. I think we must just, explore what others eat, what other homes do.
Okay.
You would have all these little curries that would be presented. And then, traditionally we would have, and our home and my family would make chicken puri, which is made up of
Chicken.
no, yogurt.
It sounds like
yogurt.
chicken.
It's a sweet dish. So
It's vegetarian.
Vegetarian, and it's basically yogurt. So it's where we strain. It takes days to make it. The old-fashioned way.
How far ahead do you prepare for the festivities? Because I mean, just to dress up yourself takes. I would. How long do you take to put everything, all your fineries, and because
I
it
think it's
always
about
looks so
planning.
beautiful.
It's planning and having it packed away where you can remember.
Okay, so you spend days preparing for the
Yeah.
food, for the
So
meal.
For me, I feel that there's never an amount. You can't put a number to the preparation. How many days you can prepare? It can go. It depends. You can
Just
go.
reach over for this. I forgot this. Oh, sorry.
So it can
I'm
go
not
on
complete.
for days. Now,
Now I'm
you're
complete.
complete. Beautiful. It can go on for days.
Oh, beautiful. Thanks to you. This is actually Joshna's. I borrowed it from her because I don't have my own sari.
Now
One
she
of
knows
these
where
days.
to come. Yes. Yes.
I'm gonna make it a yearly tradition, so I need to buy my own sari. It's so beautiful,
It is
Josh.
lovely.
It's really, really beautiful. Thank you.
So it can take days, weeks. An Indian wedding can take up to a year to plan. Yes.
Sounds like a
The
Filipino
meals,
wedding.
you know, all of it revolves around the food.
Does it?
It absolutely revolves around the food.
And why is that? Because it's supposed to be the festivity of light, festival of light, and yet it centers on food.
Because
Why-
what brings people together on a table, it's food, and you know, that's how conversation comes back, comes up, connection comes up. Food is the center of so much, you know. At the end of the day, who remembers anything but the food, what they ate? You know, a lot of South African Indians will say, we always leave a wedding and we always comment on the food.
Absolutely.
Any
Yeah.
wedding,
Anywhere,
it's always
I
the
suppose.
food. So it's always the food that brings you together. No one remembers the decor. They'll remember maybe what you wore. They don't remember much, but they remember the food because it fills your belly, and once your belly is filled, your heart is full.
Yes, and that's at the end of the day, that's what it is. The feeling. You're left with the feeling and the memory of that night because of the food.
Yes, and food and smells trigger memories.
Trigger memories.
Yeah, so it becomes a memory. Food becomes a memory.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much, Josh.
You are welcome.
Thank you for the outfit, and thank you for the interview, and thank you for welcoming me to your beautiful home. And thank you in advance for my aluchat, for all the food that we're going to consume tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Are you done?
Yes!
Oh! Yay!
Um,
You are so good at this.
Oh, thank you.